Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. My name is Reuben, joined here today with Aryan, and we are back to talk A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Episode 6, The Morrow. And before we get into today's review, I want to let you guys know that you can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social medias at Nerd Soup, at Beau Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey, and go ahead and check out our Patreon page, where we have reviews of shows and also just podcasts of us talking about really anything that pops into our heads. So that's exciting. Yeah, season finale. It's a little bittersweet because I think this show has been so fun, and in typical Game of Thrones fashion, it was more of a table setter for next season while tying up some of the loose ends and creating even more loose ends going into the next season. We have Dunk and Egg setting off on their adventure after some more drama in this episode. Will they, won't they be the knight and the squire that we all want to follow around for 5 to 7 more seasons? And yeah, looks like we're full steam ahead into season 2, already getting some details, but we're not going to talk about that just yet. We're going to talk about this final episode, which I thought was really good. Bit more quiet after the last two. It's the calm after the storm. I thought, there were some fun lines of dialogue that could be interpreted one of many different ways, which is always fun about George's writing. Good performances. Like I said, good cliffhanger going into season 2, following these two characters on some new adventures. The world truly has become their oyster, and it's such a fun setting for all of us to get lost in. Aaron, what'd you think about this season finale and the season overall?
Definitely one of the most pleasant surprises I think we had in a while. I was expecting the show to be good, but just seeing how it's kind of captured everybody. It seems like everybody's talking about it. Everybody wants to watch. And I think after those last 2 episodes, it really kind of skyrocketed to a point where I don't think anybody really saw this coming. I mean, the House of the Dragon had moderate success, but nothing reached that level of Game of Thrones type success. And this, maybe not in viewership, but quality wise, I think got as close as maybe anything else has.
Oh yeah, I've seen people talking about it's the best adaptation of the material. Maybe in terms of quality as a season of television, it's not better than 1 through 4, but in terms of being a quality show while also being pretty faithful to the material, a lot of the diehard fans are putting this at the top.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think with Ira Parker, we kind of got the sense that maybe Ryan Condal was going to be the guy moving forward. I think there's going to be a heavy movement, and especially HBO, Warner Brothers, Netflix, Paramount. Anybody else in there?
North
Korea?
Tubi?
I think they got...
No, Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're the ones with the fund. No, Ryan Condal is the Dynasty Starts After You type of player.
Yeah, good bridge, but if he just wants to, because I know he said he wants to just do Dunk and Egg forever, which is cool. But I wouldn't mind him dipping his toe into other stories as well.
Yeah, he's also said this could be an avenue for more flashbacks when it comes to the Blackfire Rebellion, specifically the first one.
Yeah, let him handle just all the Blackfire shit. Not only Dunk and Egg. If they're going to do go back a little bit, do the whole Royal Bastards thing and introduce that lore into the live action, let him handle it. And I think he's shown this was obviously going to be a more lighthearted show, but the dramatical and epic moments, even in this little confined setting, have been great. So I think he can handle that as well. Because I don't expect a Blackfire Rebellion to have the same kind of humor as Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, but he could do both. Like you said, him being faithful, although there was a small change in this finale. But I think the changes he does make are ones that align with what the show is doing and very natural. It's not changes to save on budget or changes to save on expanding the story too much. And the change I'm talking about is when Maekar, ultimately he agrees to let Egg go with Dunk and gives him a little PBA card in case he gets pulled over, so he can be you know who my dad is.
Gives him a bag of money as well.
Yeah, so it's he lets him go, but if shit goes down, just you tell him you're Aegon Targaryen. And there's still I can see season 2 opening up with them camping out in Targaryen banners pulling up on them and people being oh no, is this the end of Dunk and Egg? And it's just Maekar being all right, you can go, little cash in your pocket, get out of jail free card.
Yeah, I think it also gives them a chance to bring back the actor, and they're trying to give him a bit more development, it feels like, when he has that conversation with Dunk, even though he's got other children besides Aryan and Egg. He says, "This is my last son," and it's really like, this is the last shot I have of being a good father. And I think a lot of people suspected this about Maekar as a father, that he does care about his children deep down. I think for a lot of people it wasn't hard to see that, but this is the most unguarded he probably is, to where he's being very honest about his feelings towards his son and how much he's worried about his future because of him being unruly. And we've seen, even Daenerys talking about Viserys in the books. I saw somebody talking about one of those passages, that she used to remember him as a kind boy that would let her share his bed when she was scared at night. Which also makes me, knowing the Targaryens, that's a little sus, but whatever. When it comes to how these princes, these lordlings are raised, it really does matter. Who knows what happens to Ned Stark? He could have been, going off the deep end if Jon Arryn didn't set him straight. So that shit really is important, and it's important for Maekar as well. And I think, he wants to be able to, feel some pride in being a father, and I can do this job the right way. But... Yeah, and I think Dunk he comes close to convincing Maekar when he's making the point that it will do Egg good to sleep in stables, to earn every meal that you eat rather than it being served for you, and to be on the road, to understand what it means to live as a commoner and how that can really mold somebody's perspective into being a better prince, a better leader, a better king one day. But I don't think it's only just about that. I think it's, it's also about the relationship that he's formed with Dunk, where he really looks up to him as a father figure, more so than Maekar. And I think that does probably hurt his pride and his ego a bit. And that's why he doesn't want to let him go, even though he sees in Dunk someone who can mold him the right way, because we've seen plenty of knights who come from nothing and end up absolute scumbags. So it wasn't just Dunk's experiences growing up, but it was also the guidance he had from someone like Sir Arlen. And then he can turn around and he could be that for Egg. And Egg not getting the permission from his father, it fits his character. It just adds to the unruly nature of that character. That he understands this is right for him, so he's just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, and it fits the story. It's like a funny little bit at the end. I enjoyed that, where the camp is leaving and they're like, where the fuck is Aegon? So it fits with the show, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I honestly do think we'll see him in season 2 opening it up, and we'll kind of get that passing, him entrusting Aegon with Dunk. So it's not the biggest deal in the world. The biggest thing almost happened was when that flashback with Sir Arlen and Dunk asking why he never knighted him, because I don't think we really talked about it, but that's kind of, even since the novellas came out, a debate among fans, was Dunk actually knighted, or is he just lying?
Right. Yeah, and people were even bringing that up when he didn't know the vow, and Sir Lionel bailed him out there.
Yeah, so I thought that was going to confirm it, but it could still be a little ambiguous because he does wake up and you don't know how long after that Arlen dies or if he does knight him. So, but I thought they were going to confirm that, so that would have been neat.
Yeah, no, it adds a wrinkle to Dunk's character. They're not above lying. I think that's been a fun part about this show, is the reason that they've been able to survive this season is that they're so likable. So Dunk is able to make friends with Lionel, with Baelor, and with Egg, with these powerful people, simply because he's a good dude and people trust him. But he will lie to your face. So him walking around and saying, oh yeah, I was knighted before he died, blah, blah, blah. But I think it goes to show that, I saw some fans talking about Sir Arlen wants to protect him because of the people that he's lost and all the young knights that he's seen go off to battle and never return home, when he's talking about nailing the penny on the oak tree. And it shows in the end that Dunk has become a true knight, in the sense of he's going off, he's capable now of not only mentoring Egg, but standing up for what he believes in and fighting for what is eventually going to define him as a knight. And it doesn't matter that Sir Arlen didn't say those words, because we've seen it many times where people take that oath and they break it almost immediately. or they spend their entire lives as decorated knights, and they don't hold up the oaths whatsoever. And that's often a struggle for these characters, and I think that's an interesting part of his writing as well, where people who have been a knight their entire lives never quite live up to what it truly means, to whereas Dunk never really had to learn that lesson. There were other lessons that he had to learn to make sure that he can, just be confident in the person that he is. But when it comes to being a knight, that's something that he was kind of born with, and Sir Arlen was able to mold it. And one of the reasons I love that performance by Peter Claffey so much in that scene is because it comes from a place of absolute purity. This is something he's always wanted. It's something he's been striving for. Yes, because he looks up to other knights and because of the prestige that the title holds. But he's not someone who comes from privilege and he wants to cosplay somebody important. He truly wants to embody it, everything that it means. Yes, the power, the stature, but also the honor and the nobility of the position. So it's it's that classic moment when you're in between who you were and what you want to become. And because the reasons are so pure of heart, you can't help but be moved by his anxiousness to finally become a knight. All the flashbacks, I think, with Sir Arlen have been pretty great. And the actor who played him, I don't have his name in front of me, but just bringing this quirky, wacky knight to life in a way that you really miss his presence. So those flashbacks have just been really strong for the character of Dunk.
Yeah, and they've been used very, especially with the shows we've seen before, flashbacks wasn't really a tool utilized. And I think even last episode, people might have been, when the battle started and you get a flashback, oftentimes it's a big groan. And it's like you're taking away from the good part to go to this pointless flashback. But it added such a layer to his character that really made the climax of that episode really mean more as a viewer. So I think they've been utilized very, very particularly and done well for the most part. So, and I think that's something that because in the books, there seems to be a flashback every chapter. Not in the traditional sense, but people talking about the past, which really builds the world to a place that you really can't do in live action, where you get all this information about past kings, past knights, past conflicts, past characters, and through flashbacks, it almost tells a secondary story. Going forward, I think that's something that could be utilized very, it could be something that just builds the world even further. I'm glad that it was utilized in this way and kind of painted an entire picture with Dunk, especially, like you said, 6 episodes, maybe 40 minutes each. In that amount of time, it feels like we've spent eternity with these characters, and we look forward to spending more time with them. If they want to go past just the 3 novellas and do other stories and, like he said, kind of follow them throughout their entire lives, I think that's something people would love to see.
Yeah, and it's funny because everybody's highlighting the line that Sir Arlen says, "A knight always finishes his story." Maybe George inserted that line. Maybe it's people just looking for anything to hold on to when it comes to Winds of Winter. But there was also the story, the actor who plays Egg was talking about George R.R. Martin telling him that Sir Duncan... Well, actually, I'll if you want to skip this part, just I'll put a disclaimer on the screen so you know when we're done talking about this. But for people who know what eventually happens to Egg and Sir Dunk, it was presumed that he dies at the tragedy of Summerhall. Now we have some information that says he might still be alive, which a lot of people think he's coming back in Winds, or maybe the final book, which I don't even want to name the final book at this point. So that's interesting. The way he writes his books, the way he does foreshadowing, I don't think that's something that we can just think only applies to this series. I think there might be something more there, which gets me excited. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe I'm getting my hopes up for something that was just a throwaway line, but I don't know. To me, that's fun.
Yeah, but he would be 100 years old.
Right, yeah, and the magic there, that's it's always so fun the way he deals with prophecy. Is this all part of the master plan? Dunk finding Sir Arlen, it's set him up to do eventually what he's going to do in Winds of Winter. Who knows? But it's fun. Fans are having fun with that line.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to the episode, I think it was just a great I don't know, I really enjoyed the ending. Even Aegon saying the whole thing about the 9 kingdoms and then the flash to the title card and they change it to a Knight of the 9 Kingdoms. That's just good fun. I think this show has really instilled in the viewers it doesn't always have to be so dreary and like dreadful. There's hope in this world, and I think like these two characters are the perfect kind of window for us to see there's so much more than just scheming and killing and vying for the throne and having these selfish desires, because there's really not that many characters like that in this world, and just having them on the road and just following their adventures is enough for a lot of people. And I think that's what like the hesitancy for a lot of people going into, like, will that work? Will people be on board with this type of story? And yeah, I think it shows when you have great likable characters, people are going to care about their journeys and be invested in what they do.
Yeah, it's funny because I pulled out the map and I started counting and I was like, no, it really is 9. People were like, oh, you can't consider the Crown Lands a kingdom or the Western Lands, but he's being one of those real technical nerds. Well, technically, it's not fun saying make the 9, make the 8, you know. Sounds like you've done something.
Yeah, and even doing the little Sir Aryan veering off to the left, little visual metaphor there.
Such a beautiful gesture towards the character of Sir Aryan, honoring the idea of preparing the next generation for their adventure, and those experiences, the impact that it had on your life is never going to leave you. Even when you say goodbye, that love will be there. And it is funny also in this episode, Baelor's funeral, they couldn't have brought the body to King's Landing for, you know, the guy was second in line for the Iron Throne. I thought it could be more of an event. The joke that Lionel makes was actually fucking crazy. That was disrespectful.
Caravan departs after the roast.
No, that was the humor, even the music, the contemporary music, which I usually hate. And this isn't a period piece, but it's supposed to be a medieval setting. The jazz in the beginning I thought was funny. It took me out of it, but not in a way where I'm going to be so upset by the inclusion of the intro and the outro music. Somebody said it reminded them of a Nerd Soup video, so I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, no, they haven't been afraid of being a bit meta with their humor, a bit ironic, and also the way that the dialogue has been written, it feels very Shakespearean in the way that the books sometimes read, where it is a different setting, it's a different type of English that they're supposed to be speaking, even though it is softened a bit. You know, I feel like that's what the later seasons of Game of Thrones really got away from, but this show, it embraced it and still found a way to be funny. Yeah, and I thought all the scenes, like tying up the loose ends, like when he's talking to Prince Valar about why did the gods take Baelor and spared you. So going back to the big master plans and the prophecies and the destinies of these characters, and the conversation he has with Darren, who shows up after he's the one who set all of this bullshit in motion. And Dunk's like, really? You're just going to sit down and drink like nothing happened? Do any of us get an apology? So all the scenes, I thought 3 really strong scenes, and of course with Egg as well, but all the scenes that Dunk shares in this episode with the Targaryens, tying up those loose ends. All great scenes, great performances by those actors, incredible casting all around. You know, we've complimented the 2 leads, but all of the side characters. I love that little touch of silver in Valar's hair. Yeah, just adds so much to, he's got the Dornish ancestry as well, but still the hint of the dragon. And then the shit with Reuben was ridiculous. Dunk just being a good friend, like, okay, yeah, I'll just accept this because I'm not trying to get into this right now.
Bro, it was a knight for one day. You know, he was going around telling everybody, yeah, I'm a knight now. And she was like, oh, okay.
It's literally that commercial, dude. What was that fucking commercial where people keep getting impregnated instantly? He thought he had that. Yeah, progressive. He thought he had that power.
Oh, it's
like, I'm a knight now.
You think that's a progressive flow?
She's hip. She's cool. No, I can't remember what it is, but it does feel like it was an insurance commercial where people became instantly pregnant. And in my mind, I think Reuben believes that that's the power of being a knight. We're just one night together. She's 4 months.
Yeah, good for him, you know. He's got to go back to the cider game.
He's going to come out with a flaming sword. Yeah, one part I was wondering is how often does Egg have to shave his head? But I guess that he can go like 10 days and people really don't notice, you know?
Yeah, when he picked up the knife, I thought he was going to fade himself.
Yeah, yo, Dad, I was just going to, you want to give me the fade? I wasn't going to kill him or anything. That was dark. That was a fucked up moment. I think even, you know, when you, as a father, you see your son going to kill your other son.
Yeah, but you get it though.
Yeah, no, he does get it. Yeah, he's like, as someone who just killed their fucking brother.
What is sending him to the free cities? Like, what does he think's gonna happen? It's like, yeah, my son's a real piece of work. Let me send him to fucking like Ibiza. Let him go. Like, he'll
Let me
figure
send
it
that
out
man
there.
to terrorize the locals in Croatia.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll send him to Europe with my credit card. I'm sure he'll be all right.
Yeah, that's the parent just totally giving up, but not even trying. Like, send him to
Dagestan, 2-3 years. Forget about him. We'll come back a machine.
I do think that moment by Maekar and the actor Sam Spurrell, who's been the unsung hero of this season, where you have all the praise for Dunk, Egg, Baelor, a lot of these side characters, but quietly he has turned out to be one of the best characters of this season. And him embracing his son, stopping him from committing this terrible act, killing your own brother intentionally. You know, it's what drove Michael Corleone crazy in The Godfather Part 3. Not quite as good as the first two, but underrated. You know, to have that tender and human of a reaction to what you're about to witness says so much about his character. That not only is he going to forgive his son for what he was about to do, but partly the reason Aryan has become such a bastard is because of his fathering, because of his parenting. And he is willing to accept the mistakes that he has made in this moment, while also being able to accept Aegon's fury and hatred of his brother. And just that simple gesture, putting a hand on his shoulders, allows Aegon to shake out of it, to not make this horrible decision that you can never take back, to not go down this very, very dark road. So to me, it ends up just being one of the most significant moments of the season, and just a very powerful moment between father and son. And then Aryan doesn't realize, like, I'm sending you to the free cities because your brother might fucking kill you one of these nights. I think that's what they're also setting up here. When people are like, why would they change the thing with Maekar? And Aryan doesn't really have much to do in these stories after this one. But I think they're setting up the potential that these characters will return. And it's also classic. The actor is so good as the character that the fans want him back, and it kind of makes sense from a production standpoint. You enjoy the performance, he's good as the character, and he does serve as an interesting antagonist for Egg.
Yeah, I think you can also get into trouble too. It's like, oh yeah, we love Lionel, we want to see Lionel again. And then kind of just shoehorning him into a scenario that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I could see that happening. And that was a great scene too, when Lionel's talking about, Baelor really didn't risk anything. And he's trying to sell him on this idea that even though I'm a high lord, it's different. I'm cool. I'll love you like a brother. If you don't come, I'll hate you like a brother. I thought that was a brilliant line, because that love and hate between brothers in this universe, it can run pretty deep. Especially with the fucking Baratheons.
Yeah, but I do think it opens it up to, like, even just like for like levity's sake, like, I wonder what Lionel's up to, and they just flash to him at Storm's End just in the rain. Like, this sucks. Or like something like stupid like that. Maybe they don't have to be inserted into the story, but I can see them kind of like panning around for humor's sake.
Yeah, I think that could be fun. I don't even hate that idea of just cutting to Lionel in the rain.
Robert and Renly would have loved him. Stannis would have fucking hated him.
Oh, yeah. Lionel is the brother that Robert wanted.
Yeah.
I saw a big debate the other day on Twitter. People were talking about why Renly declared for the throne.
Why not?
That was my whole argument. Like, because he had a big-ass fucking army.
This whole thing is, Robert's the rightful king, Joffrey's a bastard, but nobody likes Stannis, so...
Yeah. Flawless logic, if we're being honest.
And it's like at the backing of the Tyrells, so... And no one loves Stannis, so...
Him presenting his case in court. Like, you guys ever factor in that Stannis sucks, actually? Damn, that's a good point, dude.
So, do you want to be bored with Stannis, or do you want to have a great time at Old Renly here? The Kingsguard? Yeah, well... Rainbow Guard. That's fun. Vibrant colors, Stannis is just, no one knows what Stannis does.
Yeah, that big chick from Tarth? Starting center. Nobody's fucking scoring on us. I dare Daenerys to try something. Yeah, no, R.I.P. Renly, man. I thought, not to get too hung up on his death, but when he was talking about the Starks and the Baratheons, they overthrew the Mad King. We're about to do that shit again. I was like, yo. Super team. Yeah,
it's like, if I can go back in time, go into a different dimension, I would have Things would have been different.
Yeah, no, if you go back in time, the only thing is kill Melisandre.
Or, yeah. Or like have sex with Jane Westerling before Rob.
Oh, yeah, you do that. You marry her first.
I was trying to think of what her name is in the show. I completely blanked on that.
Just the honorable cucking of Rob.
Yeah, I bag Jane Westerling first. Everything else goes smoothly.
Bro's just got no choice.
So, well, I guess I got to marry the Frey girl now. And things are different.
Yeah, it was sweet the way that, you know, when Egg shows up at the end, after Dunk does decline to take him under his wing, that they fall right back into those roles where he gives him the horse, take care of this horse or else I'm going to give you a clout in the ear. I wish we would have gotten more threats of violence from Dunk, because I always found that so he's constantly threatening to punch him in the face in the book. But yeah, Egg lying once again, apologizing for lying about being a Targaryen and then being like, yeah, my dad gave me the go-ahead. So I can't wait to see the look on Dunk's face when he realizes what he's gotten himself into again. But these two characters are just, it is so delightful to watch them just ride around these kingdoms, and apparently they're going to Dorne. I think they have a real fun opportunity when it comes to that kingdom. You know, not spending too much time there, but opening it up and showing us a different side. So
yeah, I wonder how these seasons are going to play out. Are they just going to do the 3 seasons based off the 3 novellas, or are they going to expand?
yeah, it looks like they've already confirmed for next season it is going to be 6 episodes, and it's going to be based on the second novella. So, and that the episodes will range from 30 to 60 minutes. Maybe the season 2 will be a bit longer if they find some places to add in some story. I think as long as it's good, I don't mind them adding in some filler.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, because I think they're already filming. So I wonder if like the success is going to change anything. If the executives are going to be like, well, no, now this has to be, it can't be a Sunday night at 10 p.m. It has to be a Sunday night, 9 p.m. hour-long series now. Which is good and bad, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, I wish we had longer episodes, but what are we going to fill that time with? And that comes with adding things or changing things or kind of creating a, you know, butterfly effect, which I think we saw perfectly with Game of Thrones. Like the changes didn't seem to be a big deal at the time, but the further you go and the more you expand upon them, it becomes something completely different. I still get mad. Like I'll find myself thinking about things that just piss me off. And it's not even the big things that piss people off. Like people can obviously point to like the last season and some things that went on. It's just like small things that I'm like, and that still makes me madder than like Bran being king. It's like, I don't know how they'll do it, but like if they do a sequel, I think like if they do try to add like maybe the Aryan storyline and stuff like that. But just looking back at Dorne, I just get so angry. And there's obviously bigger things like the whole Sansa Ramsay thing that really drives me crazy. But
yeah, no, now that I'm thinking about it, we do see Jaime and Bronn riding around Dorne, but it never felt like a kingdom that had personality like the other kingdoms.
No, all the personality from Dorne came from Pedro Pascal in King's
100%.
Landing.
Yeah, right. No, it's just such a missed opportunity.
He brought like a little Dorne of what Dorne was to like in that room with him, and we just got none of that swagger in Dorne itself.
Dude, I think about all the time the way that Euron is introduced in the novels as essentially an anime character. This guy's basically conquered the world. He knows so much about so many things that have been a mystery.
He pulls up with a fucking dragon horn, eye patch, and like 3 warlocks.
He could have been such a fun, overpowering presence. Someone who's truly just basically not manifested, but has mastered the magic of this universe.
And then you get like the point of views of his brothers, and they're just fucking terrified. Like they're literally like it's just like he shows up like even without just the reactions of his family, you're like, holy fucking shit, this guy is no joke. And in the show, he's just a complete joke.
That should have been the focus, man. After Joffrey's death, season 5, it should have been honing in on Euron as the show's main villain. And it was so cool at the time when they showed the Night King at Hardhome, and this was also in the novel, them sacrificing the babies, but replacing Euron with the Night King ends up being pretty devastating. I think about Euron all the time, man, how cool that could have been in live action. That could have gotten so dark too, man. Euron taking over a fucking dragon with the horn, just unleashing that motherfucker on civilians. God damn it. No, but this show rocks.
Yeah, let's get back to this show. Yeah, I do wonder, like, it's like they deserve more budget and everything like that, but like maybe the smaller budget forces them to be more creative, more character driven, and take away. Like, I honestly don't know like what a bigger budget would have improved on with this series or this season. Maybe a more extensive battle sequence, but I kind of think like the low key of the whole thing added to it. Like, they didn't really have to be extravagant.
The way he was talking about it too, there were a couple of changes he made because of the budget. It was things that you don't necessarily miss if they're not there, but they definitely could have added to the show. I think the narrative itself is strong to a point where you don't need a massive budget, but probably little things that make life easier for the production team. And as I mentioned, something you don't necessarily miss when it's not there. You know, extra fog, extra trees, whatever it is. When you have it, it definitely improves the overall viewing experience. And that's another fun part about this show. They really did make it a visual treat. It wasn't just about the story and the dialogue, but it looked great overall.
Honestly, if they give them more money, just cut a check to fucking Dexter and Peter.
Just give them extra money. Make sure they don't go and do anything else.
Yeah, because they probably signed like that rookie 3-year deal. And now they're looking around like, wait a second. We're the best in the league.
Yeah, they cast a 6'5", good-looking guy with an Irish accent. You know the price is going up.
Do I have any player options?
Try and cut them in on the Paramount deal. Give them some shares in Peacock. Wait, is that Paramount? No, that's not Peacock. No, Paramount Plus. That's Paramount.
Tricky.
Yeah.
Let's see where you kind of got mixed up there.
Good show. I mean, hey, we fucking liked it.
That's all that matters.
Seeing the trailer for House of the Dragon season 3, everyone's like, "Yo, you, the bar has been raised."
I know. I do think people are being a little too hard. I think people enjoy House of the Dragon.
Yeah, they do. I think for the most part, yeah. I mean, it's a hit too. That's fun about House of the Dragon, because I feel like it's a lot of the diehards that have more problems with it, but the casual fan, I think the general audience has really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. It's not as good as Game of Thrones, or it might not be good as Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but like, I don't think now that Night of the Seven Kingdoms is a hit, we got to be like, well, actually, House of the Dragon fucking sucks. I don't think it's like the best of this universe, but I still enjoy it.
Bro, do you remember when people were pretending that Luke showing up in The Mandalorian was good?
Yeah.
Nobody talks about that moment anymore. That shit is in like the dustbin.
Oh, and can people just stop being babies?
Or people like, you said that like people are turning into babies, like actual babies.
No, it's a huge epidemic.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. The whole, it's like not the first time we've experienced review bombing and stuff.
Oh, with the Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Review bombing Night of the Seven Kingdoms because it was the same level of score as Ozymandias. And then review bombing, because I love both, like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones are my two favorite things in the world. It's like, can't people just like both things? Why is everything always got to be a competition?
Well, the funny shit is Breaking Bad fans acting like A Night of the Seven Kingdoms can't compare to Breaking Bad because it's high art. You should hear about what people say about Breaking Bad, bro. People say the same shit about Breaking Bad when you compare it to The Sopranos or The Wire. So be careful about who you're picking fights with.
But it's like, I love Breaking Bad, and Ozymandias should be a 10. And people think that episode's a 10 for Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And yeah, they both can be 10s. So it's like, yeah, that insecure, or like just to review bomb and then go back. Now I got to review bomb Ozymandias. And Ozymandias guy, I'm like, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah, no, that really did. That pissed me off so much.
But it's like, I get it, because like I'd be like, all right, let's fight fire with fire, even though I would never like care enough to start review bombing. But it's like, all right, a little pushback. Then it's like, wait, now it's at a 9.7. It's like that feels dirty. That feels wrong. Yeah,
when I first saw they were doing that to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I thought, okay, 9.7 is still pretty high, whatever. But then I saw that it was being returned to the Breaking Bad episode. I'm like, yo. That's an all-timer, man. That's got to be a 10 out of 10. What are we doing here?
I mean, IMDb should really just like restore both of them. Like, I don't know if there's a way they can like cut through and know what's fake or not.
I know, yeah. No, they should at least like, they should delete new accounts reviews, or they should, within like the last week, just delete all 1-star reviews. Because even though it doesn't matter, but it does matter in the sense of it's a major website. People go to IMDb looking for those scores. It's part of the conversation. We hear it all the time. So it doesn't matter, but it does.
And I know technically you can't be objective with art, which I think is bullshit. Anyway, objectively, I don't think you can look at those 2 episodes and realistically say any of them's a 1. So like, just clear it, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. Or like Breaking Bad's been out, like that episode's been out for what, like 13 years now. So like, just, do we need more reviews? Just lock it. And that's what it was.
Yeah, everybody put down your guns. Let's just enjoy the shows for what they are. Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 6. I don't know if it's a 10 out of 10, but in terms of my enjoyment, it's been a 10 out of 10. For my enjoyment, not in terms of the quality. Quality is very high, but I've had a good time watching this show. And I think you have too, Aaron, so, it's always fun being able to talk A Song of Ice and Fire on this channel. And yeah, that's going to do it. Season 1, looking forward to Season 2. We will be back to review it. And coming up in the summer, we have House of the Dragon Season 3. I'm excited to see my boys Aegon and Aemond. I love those 2 wacky princes. And of course, Emma Darcy as Rhaenyra. I'm a man of taste.
I'm going to go review bomb the pit.
For what reason?
Dana's obnoxious New York accent, even though she's from Pittsburgh. You're going to review bomb Dexter in retaliation.